I think we were talking about Bryan Levell. We probably can
Mhm.
just finish the conversation. That sensational performance by him, an easy 1984. I suspect you expect him on the podium based off of this.
Yeah, definitely. I think if he can replicate this performance with more effort, I think there's no reason to believe that he can't run 19.5 or somewhere within that window. So 19.46 up to about 19.52 or
Right.
54. Because when you look at the fact that he completely nullified all his momentum coming off of the curve.
Mm.
As he said afterwards, he was just lifting his knees and going through the motions. And he's literally stopped, crawled to a walk 50 meters out and almost walked across the line. So you can see that he maybe lost about 4/10 of a second, if not more, down that last 80 meters. So, if he can then manage his energy in the semifinals and then come back, you would think that there's no reason why he shouldn't be on the podium.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. I think he should be on the podium. I hope he gets on the podium. If he doesn't get on the podium, I also want to make this clear, and I think you would agree with this, that
Mm.
the Jamaican public or his supporters shouldn't feel bad about it because he is still learning. It takes a lot to navigate a major championship and find a way on the podium, and it took Obixville a while.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are happy for different
And
reasons. It
it's
took
and
him a
it's three
while.
big guns. It's,
Yeah,
it's, it's Lyles, it's Kenny, it's Tobago. So
right.
you can't feel bad if he, because look, he may very well run 19.6 in the final and then
Yeah,
not end up on the podium. That's a
yeah,
reality. So I wouldn't feel bad if he misses out on the podium, but you would have to feel, you're more likely feel encouraged and optimistic about his future, given that this is his really, his second year on the circuit. I mean, last
yeah.
year was his first year as a pro. So, and he ran 19.97 last year and 9.97. And then I think he loaded to 9.94 and then got down to 9.82. And the way he looks right now, he looks like he's in 9.7 shape, if not, as
19.7,
somebody,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you mean on the
No,
100?
but in the 100,
Yeah, yeah.
and somebody was saying to me today that had he been in the 100, it might have been a Jamaican sweep because that's how fast he looks today.
Right.
You know, I mean, Goat is no slouch, and he
Yeah.
blew past him in the first few steps out of the blocks. So yeah, I mean, you have to be optimistic. I mean, it might not happen, but certainly it is very plausible. It's not like a pipe dream you're thinking might end up on the podium, because certainly she has shown enough qualities to suggest that he could be on the podium.
No,
So
yeah.
if any of the big three look vulnerable or are vulnerable, he could actually sneak in and get onto the podium.
No, it is. And I want to say that I don't know if it's strategy because clearly they didn't intend to run this fast. But if ever you wanted to make a statement to the other
Mm.
three, this is the statement you make. You say, Kenny, Noah, let's see, how
Mm.
about this?
Yeah.
You walk into the crowd in the call room. I suspect you won't hear that man was panicking in the back from Noah Lyles.
Yeah, you,
You,
you
you
will
know,
hear
he
that.
probably he won't be saying that. He probably has to keep everything. And so, yeah, lots of people coming in. Let me shout out some people on your channel first. Staying Alive is there. Marva Lloyd, Kimani, Andre. And on mine, Onika is in. A bunch of people are here. Uh, Bryan says Shanika husband seems to have created a Godzilla. I
For
don't know
real.
yet, but yeah.
I mean, look, 1979 with a 2.5 win, 1969,
Yeah.
and now 1984. He's not a fluke.
Yeah.
He's not a fluke, because these times are within line of where the big medals are in major championships. So,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, and since he mentioned Coach Osborne, and we spoke about it off here, I hope for her he medals because she'll get a new level of respect, probably a lot more support, a lot more athletes looking her way. That doesn't mean she needs to take on a million athletes, but
no.
it certainly changes the game when you can deliver championship medals and break away from different structures that you probably work with or developed under. Yeah.
And especially in the way, if it happens, especially in the way that it could happen, because if he runs 19.4, as I suggest that is possible, then she becomes a big name. because the only other person to have done that is Glenn Mills.
Yeah.
So in a Jamaican environment where we're still largely patriarchal, where we're thinking only men can do certain things.
Yeah.
Shaniki has quietly built. Look, she has already had a reputation in terms of the work that she's done with Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
But Elaine really didn't win anything under her direct tutelage. But now she has Bryan, and she has Delano Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
And Delano Kennedy ran well. He may not have made the final, but he certainly ran well. 44, 74, I think it was. So you're looking at a situation where she's gradually building a reputation as an elite coach.
Mm-hmm.
And so if Bryan Levell wins or is on the podium, her stock goes up significantly in Jamaica. And the fact that she has young Tiana Terrelong with her as well. If Tiana Terrelong comes along in another 2 years and starts to challenge the Clayton twins and the Brenda Listons, then Optimum track club suddenly becomes as big as MVP or racers in terms of the immediate space, not necessarily in terms of the legacy and the history, but in terms of rising to that level where Shaniki is now an option for athletes to pursue. Because one of the things that I know about her is that she's a very serious person. She is very smart. She is well read, because my information with her is that every single thing that Frano has done, she has studied. She has bought books, done the research, done the reading. And this is one of the reasons why she chose to go on her own, because she realized that she could do it on her own. Yeah. So, what she's been doing right now, certainly on the evidence of it, she's at the level, or almost at the level of the big coaches in Jamaica.
And you want that because the big two, and I guess if you add Coach Wilson and whoever else, they can't coach everybody else in the same space, right? And coaching, as you rightly know, and most people would know, is a process, right? And you have different spaces around the world, and people go there. And at some point, if your camp is too big and you don't have a team and the right resources, it becomes problematic. And you want to see generational shifts, and some of that is happening, but you want it to happen fast. Where at some point you could look back and you say, maybe someone can feel comfortable retiring, knowing that the landscape is in good hands, especially if you think from a nationalist perspective.
Absolutely, because I just had a conversation just yesterday about a succession plan. Glenn Mills is 74 years old.
Right.
Stephen Francis is not getting any younger. He's been doing this for 30 odd years. Paul Francis similarly as well. And you mentioned Maurice Wilson, who, he's burdened with the responsibility of as an administrator at GC Foster College.
Right.
And then you have O'Keel Stewart and a few others who are not yet established because they haven't yet won medals. Yeah. Sewell now has that because, Orlando Bennett is on silver medalist at the World Championships. But other than that, you are looking at guys who are some of the other coaches who have not really set their legacies yet because they haven't produced medalists yet. They've trained athletes and brought them to a certain level, but they haven't gotten athletes on the podium at the highest level. So their credentials are not as, or their bona fides are not as great as Glenn Mills and Stephen Francis. So if Shaniki does this with Bryan Levell and he's on the podium, and if he, God forbid, he wins, it's a totally different ballgame because she joins the pantheon. It's a different situation altogether.
Yeah, it changes our big time, and the shoe companies come around, or other agents come around forcing athletes, maybe not forcing, but presenting athletes, and you want to see it. All right, but we expect him to do well. Let's talk about, since we're in the Jamaica context, and I know we could talk about everything else, but let's talk about another Jamaican coach that's done great things with a guy that was already a world championship gold medalist, Ricketts, and a word on Tajay Gale there, getting back on the podium. For a moment, it seemed like he was going to win it all. The Chinese athlete came back and he was out on count back, and then he went up a CM. I have to think that given his long period and injuries and not making it on the podium the way he wants. So he must be happy with the silver. No one is necessarily happy, especially as a former world champion, but it's a signal that there are greater things to come.
Yeah, well, what he said today after we spoke to him today after the competition, he said when he jumped 833, which literally put the field under pressure early because it was his first big jump. Right. He said he was never comfortable because he knows that there was E-Hammer, there's Furlani, who we call the Italian. Yeah. So he always felt like the 834 that he subsequently jumped was not going to be enough. And it proved to be right because penultimate John Fernandez went on to 839. Actually, Tajay said that he was hoping to aim for 840 or something above that because he felt like that would be enough to win. And it turned out to be right because 839 was up one. So if you had jumped 840, which he has jumped before, I mean, remember he's a guy who's 869.
Yeah, 869.
Yeah, he probably would have won. But still, and he said something that was very instructive. He said that with Kerry Lee Ricketts, he feels more at home. Not to, he didn't want to, he's not denigrating MVP. But what he said was that MVP felt like he was constantly under pressure. With Kerry Lee Ricketts, he feels like it feels more comfortable. It feels more like an environment in which he can thrive. And he said that because Shaniki works so hard, she sets an example of him to follow because he said every day he comes in to train, she's working hard, so he feels like he has to match that. And he feels good. So I think this could be the start of a second career for him, because remember after 2019, he had those issues with his knee and fell off for a long time, came back and won a bronze in Budapest in 2023. And then now left MVP and went over to Kerry Lee Ricketts last season, or this season actually.
Right.
And then ends up with a silver medal and almost a gold medal. So I think he's, based on what he said today, he's in a good place.
Yeah, you like to hear that. And, he's a jumper. So you want to be in a jumper's camp where a lot of people doing the same things. And the focus is on that as opposed to, sprinters take the limelight. I'm not saying that's what was happening, but it's harder to get distracted in an environment where everybody's focused on field events or something like that. Yeah. No, I feel good for him. When you start to look at his career now, if he can drop one, if he can be around for the Olympics, if he can get on the podium, he starts to look at a situation where you start saying, is he better than James Beckford? I mean, obviously he has a gold medal from and big jumps, but he doesn't have those Olympic medals yet. So can he get into that space would be probably the way he finishes his career. But
because the conversation that is also with Wayne Pinnock as well.
Yeah, with Wayne.
Wayne has silver, Olympic silver, world indoor silver, and world championship silver. Yeah. So the way I argued it and the way I argue it is that the world championships are the pinnacle of track and field.
Yeah.
The Olympics are the pinnacle of all sports. So the prestige is there. But in terms of the accomplishment, I think it's on par. Yeah. Because the world championships are the pinnacle of track and field, and he's won at the pinnacle of track and field. Set a national record, was one of the best jumps in history. He's gone way past James Beckford. He's way better than Wayne Pinnock, way better than Kerry McLeod. And Sean D. Thompson, all these other guys who are matching around about 8:15 and thereabouts. So I would argue that he is probably the most successful Jamaican long jumper, primarily because of that. Because as good as James Beckford was, he never won an Olympic gold medal. He never won a world champion gold medal as well. So what Tajay has is a gold medal. Yeah. So that
the silverware counts for sure, and the gold medal takes it up. I suspect if you have a soft spot for James Beckford, you would say he had to compete with the greatest long jumper ever. Which is Carl Lewis. I don't know. I think we've talked about this, but I think Carl is the greatest ever. better than Mike. Obviously, Mike has the world record, but when you look at his history,
Yeah, man, Carl.
Bob Beeman didn't jump long enough for us to
No.
really, or even
And
Ralph Boston
Carl,
before him. Yeah,
I don't like Carl Lewis because of some of the things that he said about our Jamaican athletes, and some of the things that he was slinging mud when he was similarly guilty, because he tested positive for stimulants 3 times at 88 U.S. trials, and then he's trying to, cast blame on everybody else or accuse everybody else of doing illegal things. I don't like that. So, but you can't deny his credentials as a long jumper. I mean, 4 Olympic gold medals. That alone tells you that how good he is, and that he lost to Mike Powell, who was jumping
30 years ago. Is it 30 years ago?
Yeah, 1991, 34 years ago.
34 years ago, sorry.
Yeah, so you're looking at, 8 meters 95, and Carl was right there at 8. I think he jumped 891 or something like that.
Yeah, I think he broke the world record. We made it at one point.
Yeah, I think it was his 4th jump. So Carl is Carl, and James Beckford was actually leading Carl in 96.
In Atlanta,
yeah, before Carl beat him in the final jump. So, but and James is my boy, James, I mean, we talk. I mean, I think last Olympics we actually had him on the Sportsmax, talking about his accomplishments and stuff like that. But Jamaica's, it's easier to coach it like this. Jamaica's produced a few good long jumpers, including James Beckford, including Wayne Pinnock, including Tajay Gill, including Kieran McLeod, because all of these guys have medals at global championships, and so we can all lump them in the same category.
Yeah, and long may continue, because it's something that we have had discussions about, where it's a space in which the athletes are definitely primed, given the development stage in the country to really excel at, and a lot of them don't do it for various reasons. But I'm happy to see the reemergence of field events, and even if you think about a Samantha Hall getting into the discus final, or
first woman ever to do it from Jamaica. So
so
you can't, that she has her place in history, So I think it's a good sign. And one of the things that I've always lamented is that in Jamaica specifically, we don't pay much attention to the field events. But when you look at what has happened in the last decade and a half, Trisha K. Smith winning triple jump gold in 2005, Shanika Ricketts winning multiple silver medals at the World Championships. Daniel Thomas Dahl winning bronze at World Indoors. What's his name? Odean Richards.
Odean Richards,
Yeah, Rajendra Campbell, Frederick Dakers, Roger Stoner. Jamaica has a growing cast of field eventers who have excelled at the very highest level. And it's unfortunate that we don't pay them greater attention or pay them enough respect to acknowledge the accomplishment of what they've achieved. Because when you look at Roger Stoner, for example, that throw in Paris last year would have won every single Olympic Games. It's
an unbelievable throw,
right? So, those are pieces of history that you can't erase. And unfortunately, they don't get enough credit, because for some reason we don't put we don't pay enough respect to the field events. It's unfortunate.
And I will say it's a sporting thing in the sport for sure. We all know the challenges of field eventers going on the circuit. Most of the time they're overthrowing just to make ends meet, because the payment is different. But I know we don't have time for that. We do that on another thing. When we discussed Monday, we were talking Monday. You talk about Tyler Mason, how happy you were for him. At that point, he didn't win. He wasn't in the final yet. Comes out, look, 2 Jamaicans on the podium. I think I was saying that morning I went in my World Athletics prediction, and I put both of them to medal. And because just for the prediction side of things, and I was happy to see that, because there's a legacy there now that's been established in 110-meter hurdles, Olympic champs, world championship medalists here and there, that you cannot deny now. And for them for a year where I think most people would go and say maybe they won't do anything, to come away with 2 of the coveted medals. Obviously, Cardell Tinch backs up an entire season that suggested that he was the best in the world. Your thoughts on that, and probably a word for Tyler, because you know him really well.
Listen, I don't think anybody who in their right mind seeing Cardell Finch and the whole raft of Americans, actually, even Jacoby Tharp, who won the U.S. trials
Yeah.
out of college, would have said, okay, Jamaica doesn't have a Hansel Parchment or doesn't have a
Broad belt.
Rashid Broadbill. You know, they say, okay, fine. So we're just going to just overlook the 110-meter hurdles because it's not happening this year. So not because it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at the times, for example,
Yeah.
the times weren't particularly impressive, right? Even at trials, 13 ones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're looking at athletes who are good, but did we think they were good enough to go to the World Championships and end up on the podium?
Right.
Honestly, I don't think anybody could honestly say that they were thinking along those lines. I mean, you had Zoya out there, you had the Chinese out there,
Murataki, Iapis,
Murataki,
Simonelli.
yeah. So you had guys who were doing a lot better than the Jamaicans.
Yeah.
So for them to go there, I mean, when I spoke to, for example, Orlando at trials, he said his goal was to go. He's not going to Tokyo to participate. He's going there to be on the podium. So, but and then he comes out and opens with a 13:20. Tyler Mason, who in real terms owes a lot to Rashid Broadbell, because had Broadbell been healthy, probably would not have been on the team.
Right.
And he goes there, he seizes his moment, fastest into the second round, 13:17, fastest into the final, 13:12, and then he repeats 13:12 in the final, which is his personal best, and ends up on the podium, and actually leading the race at one point. So to get 2 medals from there, that's, to me, those are bonus medals, but it doesn't take away from the accomplishment, because I think both guys, Orlando Bennett's story is just as compelling. He was, you heard Warren Weir talk about the fact that when he tried to get onto the Calabar team, he was shunned because they didn't think he was good enough. And he went home and built a set of hurdles himself and practiced. Tyler Mason, World Under-20 silver medalist, and then for the next 11 years goes through a nightmare experience of injuries and surgeries and psychological breakdowns in terms of the frustration of not being able to compete, missing out on the national team by the fractions of a second, like 2-3 years in a row. And he comes in here now, the first opportunity he gets, and he delivers. You can't say enough about it. I mean, it's really, really fantastic performance from both gentlemen, and I think it just adds to the legacy of Jamaica's sprint hurdlers. Now we have Ronald Levy, you have Hansel Parchment, you have Rashid Broadbell, you have Omar McLeod. These two guys now join that conversation.
No, it's important. It speaks to this is why sports is compelling, why people can resonate, because this is his moment. He had one shot to get there, and he knew I had to leave everything out there, and that's important. But we should also give a word to Prince, because Prince, at the same time, in 13:22 is not in the final based off of just he's unfortunate not to be in the final. Yeah,
and you have to consider the fact that Prince has been running for almost 11 months now, right?
Yeah,
ran indoors, ran outdoors, NCAAs, had to peak for trials and then come back again. And you've seen the NCAA athletes fall by the wayside at these championships.
Yeah,
all along the way. Alia Butler, who's now gone pro, by the way, and who won at NCAAs, faded in the 400. Similarly, Dejanay Oakley. Similarly, Jacoby Tharp that we just mentioned.
Sutherland from Canada.
Yes, Sutherland. She looked terrible in the first round of 400-meter hurdles. So the long NCAA season obviously took its toll on the athletes there. So but Prince is Prince won at NACAC, but the thing is, NACAC is not at the same standard as the World Championships. You can run 13:2 and win at NACAC. So the thing about it is that NACAC was 2 weeks before Worlds. Maybe NACAC was the last of the gas. And look, he didn't do badly. I just said 13:22.
No, he didn't do badly. It's just thousands of a second while he's not there.
It is. Yeah. So but there's a crew of young hurdlers coming through, and both male and female. because there's Jerome Campbell as well, who's left from Northern Carolina now, and he's gone to Arkansas for his senior year, and LaFrance Campbell, and you have a lot of young youth coming up who are really good hurdlers. You have what's his name, Laquan Gordon from Calabar, my guy from KC, who won they both ran a champs last year and ran well at character as well. So there's a nice crew of young hurdlers coming through. So in another 2 or 3 years, the national champions is going to look like probably something like the US championships with a lot of 13 and probably 12 guys, because that's the kind of talent that's out there.
No, it's good to see, and I know we've centered on Jamaica, but we are world and everything. A word on Grant Holloway. I don't know what to make of it, in the sense that I don't want to call anything on Grant Holloway. We knew he struggled with injury, but is it a changing of the guard, or we have to wait and see, because he still has something in him?
I don't think it is. I just think he's had Grant has run at the top of the world for 10 years now, right? And there comes a time when your body breaks down. And I think that's just what happened to him this year. I think he'll be back, because you've seen this season, first 5 hurdles, he's fine. And then the last 5, he's dead. So something has clearly gone wrong that they need to work on in the offseason. Because when you see Grant Holloway finish at the back of the pack in a semifinal, you know that he's not close to being anywhere close to being his best. I think it's just a blip on the road, a bump on the road for him. I think he'll be back next year. And Grant is still young. I don't think and the hurdlers go way up. Sometimes hurdlers go way into their 30s, and Grant isn't close.
Yeah, sometimes 36, 37, they could do it.
Yeah. So,
all right, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, because I think it's premature to say it's over on Grant and so on. Thanks everybody for joining. There's some people on your channel. We won't be doing a lot of comments today, just because Leighton has to go get work early in the morning, and we had a little snafu, so we just want to get through it. So your thoughts on everybody else in the 200? A quick snapshot on Adrian Carr, on Christopher Taylor. I think he did a PB, and then the women quickly. What you're specifically Sharika, in the sense that
Adrian Carr ran well. I think the semifinals is at the end of the road for him. But he will have run well. Christopher Taylor similarly. Chris is just back from a 2-year suspension. Still a lot of work to do. Still has a lot of strength to improve upon. Still a lot of mechanics to improve upon. I think we'll see a better Chris Taylor next year. So, getting into the semifinal of the World Championships right now, I think is a good step forward for both of them. But from the women's side of things, Sharika didn't look bad at all today. I mean, she looked pretty decent. Similarly, Ashanti Moore didn't look bad at all either. But when you look at the field, Anavia Battle looked really good today, 24-7. Of course, Melissa Jefferson is clearly no favorite, especially since Julian Alfred is no longer there. But there are a bunch of women, like we've seen all year, there are a bunch of women who are right within this window. 22-1s. We saw Talu run 22-2 today.
Yeah. Dina Smith looked decent.
So there are a lot of girls. Me Hunt. Actually, a lot of people who are in this little space where I think it's going to come down to execution, who wants it more, who is hungriest for it, because Dina hasn't done anything in terms of a medal for a while. Anavia is trying to establish herself on the circuit, and she's been running well all year. Brittany Brown too as well. So there's a log jam of women who are looking for that spot on the podium. And because Julian Alfred isn't there anymore, there are now 2 spots available. To me, Anavia Battle look like she's leading towards one of those spots, and then the rest are going to have to battle for the rest. But I think, based on what I saw from Sharika today, it looks like she still has a lot in store. And I think if she can get down to 21-8 or 21-9, I think she's on the podium. Ashanti Moore is very confident. 22-31 this year, and at 10.94 means that she's faster than ever before. Does that translate into her being able to run a 22-1 or 22-0, which I think probably gets her on the podium? I guess the semifinals will prove that. But she didn't look bad in her heat, and she eased down significantly in the last 50 meters. So maybe she has that in her legs, and she's stronger, she's confident, and she's faster. So I think it's going to be a bang up to see who emerges from that group of women,
right,
who will get into the final, and then whether or not they can end up on the podium.
Yeah, makes sense. So So let's quickly go to 400-meter finals or tomorrow, right? So yesterday, insane stuff. First of all,
48
what in the world was Sydney doing? I think, and are we gonna get? I have to say, are we gonna get a sub 48 this time? Because we never thought those times are normal. But with the three women, NASA, Sydney McLaughlin, and Paulina, are the conditions ripe for that?
I think so. Sydney running 48.3 and then saying afterwards that she kind of shut it down for the last 30 meters. Tells me that she can run at least 48 flat. So I'm thinking that she probably runs somewhere between 47.9 and 48.0. I don't think she can get the world record.
I think that's impossible. Yeah.
The 47.60 is a bridge too far for anybody right now. Yeah. Maybe next year Sydney can go after it. If she breaks 40, if she breaks 48 in the final tomorrow, then maybe she targets that going forward. Yeah. Paulina hasn't looked particularly great, but then at the Olympics last year, she didn't look particularly great in the semifinals either. And of course, NASA, who I think we're going to see a special race where there are probably three women under 48.5. And right now, it looks like Sydney is the person likely to win that. I remember I said it to you earlier when we said that could Sydney
she's closer to her.
To her
and a lot of people are like, what are you talking about?
So you're looking at that, and I think it's going to be an epic race unless somebody does not deliver on what they're showing now. But I think it's going to be an epic race, and I think the reality is, well, certainly from right now, it looks like Sydney wins it, and but NASA looks really good.
Yeah,
the comfort in which she's run 2 really solid times in the first round and of course semifinal. It's going to be a special race. I think it's going to be one of those races where people be talking about it for years.
It is, and this first time I'm trying to remember if Paulina ever run a race out of lane 9, and so that's kind of it's going to be a wild setup for her to be out there and running blind. Yeah,
but then
Sydney has all of them in front of her.
So she can't see all of them. The thing about it is this: Wade Van Niekerk ran on the outside lane and ran our record. So maybe Paulina running blind gives her the opportunity to do something special again. It's a very intriguing setup.
Yeah,
and I think the other women in the race are going to suffer in a big way.
No, you could come fifth and run 48.9 and look ordinary,
and die.
So I don't know. Well, after I saw that run, I was like, do I change my predictions? Let's say I may have a different predictions on the betting situation versus what I said publicly, but it's one for the ages. It's good for the sport, and just to think that there are other women that could come into the mix. They're pushing boundaries on that, so that's good. So let's quickly talk about the 400 for men.
It's going to be wild.
Changes of there's none of the medalists from the Olympics are present in the sense that Hudson Smith didn't make the final. He didn't look good first. Initially, when we spoke about it, I didn't get to. I think he came to Tokyo late, but I think it's also because he was injured too, right? We saw him he was not at his best, and then there's no Quincy obviously, and your thoughts on this?
I think, and hear me on this.
Big boy.
I think Botswana can sweep the medals.
Yeah, I think so too.
That said, Big Boy says he's going to come and run 43, right? He ran 44.38 in the first round, 44.04 in the semifinals. He's living up to what he said he was going to do. If he comes out tomorrow and 43, it might not even guarantee him a win.
Yeah.
It might not guarantee him a place on the podium because the 3 Botswanans look good. Jacori Patterson
mm-hmm.
looks good. Nene looks incredibly good. So it could be a Botswana sweep, it could be an African sweep, or it could be anybody.
Yeah,
Right
it
now.
could
But
be Patterson. It could Jareem Richards could find his 43.78.
Yeah.
It may not be good enough either. I
Yeah.
just don't know what are they doing in Botswana right now. We know the answer to that, but it's like interesting development from the 400
But
to
they've
800
been
guys.
building this team for a while,
Yeah,
I remember Isaac McQuarrie was the guy who was mentoring these guys. And now that he's retired, these guys, I think they were thinking that maybe an extra year before they came to the fore. But no, they're all here.
They're here.
They're
Kibinet Shepi, Epi, Endori, and we know Endori for a while. He was also injured early this season, so I took him out of the calculation, and clearly I was wrong.
One thing I can tell you though, they're 4x4. I don't see them losing to anybody.
I've already I think I predicted them to win. I think already, but now I'm wondering if the world record might be under threat.
Well, it's not implausible. They're all fast enough.
Yeah.
All fast.
Because you think about the world record, you had Johnson, you had Butch, and Valman was on it, and it's the other guy that was on that. Because it's the 93 world record and the 90.
It wasn't
Steve Blues on that? Huh? Quincy Watts, yeah. He was on that?
I remember it was Quincy Watts,
Because I know they had a one world record that got wiped out because of drugs, but the original one I'm trying to remember, Yeah,
but the Botswana look good. It looks really good. And Nene ran the most comfortable 44-2 I've ever seen.
Right.
My life was out for an evening stroll. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that point up, because one of the things about Nene, we thought about, obviously he had that fastest time in the world up till the other day, but that was also done in conditions that was helpful to him. But for him to come back and he's this kind of control, any of those permutations that you mentioned could happen,
Yeah, man. It's I'm hoping though for Rashid McDonald's case that if he runs 43 as he says he wants to do or intends to do,
right,
that he runs a 43 fast enough that will break his national record, because people said it was a fluke.
It's a fluke. Well, I may be on record saying that too, but what?
Yeah,
but I changed my mind after he ran those low 44. So
because he ran 44.03 a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years
so I changed
ago.
my mind on it.
But now he's back, and he's gone faster every round. And when we spoke to him, in his own way, he said that he's aiming to win the thing.
Yeah.
So does he run 43.5 or 43.7? Or because he looks
I
like
can tell you, Herb McKinley, George Roden, Arthur Wint, Les Lang, they would be happy if you were to do that. They would be smiling someplace. Yeah.
So it's I think it's in many ways it's an open risk, because I think when you look at the times that all of these guys are running coming in, and assuming that not everybody's going to replicate the times that they're running the semifinals or anything. Yeah. That we could see something similar to Paris last year, where you have probably 4 or 5 guys running 43. It's not implausible that that's going to happen or could happen. Yeah. No, it is. You want to talk about the steeple chase now on the 1500? Because
we could do that, unless you want to say anything about 800 meters or whatever. But I mean, the steeple chase. Look, yesterday, I never thought anybody could outrun, El Bakali on a tactical race. I know that if it's on the circuit, it could be a thing. But the fact that he didn't win that was interesting. But today, Cheritich, we knew she's young. I like her a lot. But for somebody to beat Yavi.
No, but she's beaten Yavi 3 times. This is the third time
but not in a championship. You know what I'm saying? It's
listen, Yavi had to have opened up a gap on her. Yeah. For her to run her down. But she couldn't shake her at all. Yeah. And I was in the studio when Casey Graham was saying, Yavi looks like she. I said, are you out of your mind? I said, what's Cheritich? No. And as soon as I said that, she just zoomed around her and just pulled away. Because that's how she's beaten her 3 times this season. Stayed close and then pulled away from her. And of course,
she's very young too. So
those are battles that I think we're going to see a lot of in the years to come.
Yeah, I felt bad for Chematai too, because she, that whatever happened to her, Yeah, but
Yeah.
I like where the steeplechase. I think it's in a healthy space, but yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
we didn't show.
competitive.
Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
No, man, finish your point.
Yeah, I was going to switch it to something else, but yeah, I thought it was good championship record. What can you say? The
Yep.
Kenyans though are outperforming, I think, in the distances here this year.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
in the marathon, I didn't have Paris Chepchirchir winning, but even though she should, we should expect her to be there, but they've been doing really good. Obviously, Beatrice Chabet yesterday, Faith Kipiegan. It's a foregone conclusion there,
Yeah,
but to
well,
get
faith is
another,
faith, huh?
yeah. But to get
Yeah.
another Kenyan on the podium as well, 1-3 for them, Jessica Hull. It was beautiful to watch, yeah.
Yeah, man, absolutely amazing. And of course, to cap it off today with Nada running on from the outside and winning that 1500. Boss, man, that
Who
was.
saw that coming?
Listen, I am. See, I'm talking about no. I can't see the goosebumps.
Yeah.
That was a feeling I had today. That was an epic clash. So and it's a pity as well that a lot of people who in the Caribbean don't celebrate those events as much as the sprints do, because those races
Right.
are just as thrilling, just as exciting, and the tactics are amazing.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
No, it was a big run. I want to say shout out to Jake Whiteman because I didn't put him on the podium. Earlier this year, I talked to some guys in Britain and they're like, Jake is trying to come back, but he's just hit and miss with the injuries. Obviously, something happened to Josh. Feel bad for him there.
Yeah.
But I thought Lars would have been there and he got out kick. And that's something that was not happening on the circuit this season. And then obviously the kid Chariot there, the younger one getting on the podium. It's amazing, and we've lost a lot of people in the 15 this year. Obviously, Jakob, I didn't have much expectations, but Haka gets disqualified for jostling, and Marcus and where he ends up coming fifth or sixth or something there after. Yeah. No,
I think Lars mistimed. I think Lars mistimed his run.
Yeah.
I think he probably thought he had more energy than he had. And I think he went a little too. Is it a little too early?
Probably.
Because he got run down again because he ran out of steam. So I don't know. With these events, it all depends, because sometimes you feel good, and sometimes you don't feel as good in a race, and you probably think that the feeling is some kind of illusion or something.
Yeah.
And then you try it and you realize that your body's not responding. So I don't know. But
no, I think you're making a good point. This is the thing and when people say they don't appreciate, you want more people to appreciate. Like when you're on the circuit, there are paces, there's the wave light. When you're training, someone might tell you something, but to feel the race, sometimes they're guessing like, is the pace too slow? It feel a little bit slow, but I'm not sure. This guy usually is behind me or this woman, and then they make a move and it's a problem. And that's the kind of jeopardy there. That's why it's easier sometimes. It's harder to predict the distance event sometimes based off of what you see on the circuit, because it's interesting. You got 800 meter semi tomorrow. Oh yeah, go ahead. You say
no, 800 semi. Who's in that semi again?
I can put it up in a second, but we have. I was surprised the Jamaican guy made it through, right? But Roman didn't.
Yeah, Roman, I think it was disappointing for me because he led.
Yeah.
When he ran at knockout, he ran with a rabbit, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I think he probably misjudged his pacing, because when you're up against a field, the quality of the field that he was up against, if you're going to stretch the field, you're going to have to actually stretch them.
Right.
You can't lead them by a step or two. But I think Navaski was comfortable in 144.78 to finish third in his seat.
Yeah.
Tyree still made it run a 145, but he got boxed in for a while. I think that actually cost him some time there. But both of them said that they're ready to run even faster. As I told you, I spoke to Doug Case a few weeks ago about Tyree Steele, about the work that they did, the speed work that they did, to get him ready for these championships. And so I think if he comes out in the semifinal and doesn't run another 143, I think he'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
And based on how Navaski looked, I think he can probably get his personal best is 144.18. I think he can probably get back close to there, if not a little bit faster. But he looked pretty strong in closing in his heat there. So I'm just hoping that most of them can run well, because I think, we talk about Seymour Newton, we talk about Neville Mighton, who are the forerunners to these guys. And for 30 and 40 odd years, their standard held. Now these guys are setting a new standard. The first Navasky first under 145, Tyree still first under 144.
44.
And they're now leading a new charge. And I think you and I had this discussion before. There are a lot of Jamaican kids right now who are 49 second 400 meter runners who will never get faster than that. Just step up to the 8, do the work, run the 70 miles a week that you need, do the strength work, do the speed work that you need to do. And you could become a world-class 800 meter runner. But you're not going to run 49 and get anywhere these days in a 400. So
not
why
even
not
in hurdles? So
that's even hurdles for real. So the situation is that some of these guys should be encouraged or incentivized to run the 800, because if you can split 49 and come back with a negative split and like say 53, you can run a decent time in 800 and then build on it from there. So
you can earn a living, because the 800, the 15, those events are respectable events on the circuit. A lot of meets prioritize that to Diamond League, Continental Tour, wherever you go, and people like those distance events. So you should get into that. I like you. I hope they can run their PB tomorrow or very close to it. Even if they run a PB, they're not making it in the final. We just have to be realistic. You're looking at heat number 1 as a wrap in it. It's just, it has Sajati. Come on, Ben Patterson. There's a bunch of 142 and 140, low guys, and 143 low guys there, and 42 lows. You can't make it out of that. I think Anderson's in the heat with Masalele, Bryce Hopper, Wanyoni. It's the class is different, but
it's crazy.
Did
somebody mention something at the top about Fred going to?
Oh yeah, so there's questions on both channels about Fred Curley signing up for the enhanced games.
I think it's a mistake. Fred needs to. Well, I don't know. Fred is
that's a very nice way of saying it, Leighton. Mistake.
Fred is he's an enigma. Fred was a solid 400 meter runner. Stepped down to the 100 and 200. Did fairly well. Won a world title. But then his personal life tends to bleed over into his professional life.
Right.
And it's a mess. I just think he needs to step away for a while and reset. Unless he sees where he doesn't have much of a future left as a sprinter in the USA, because the young guys coming through with the 400, the Nolas and the Kennys and the Anthonys in the 100, that makes it difficult for him to get back on the team or something. And he's thinking, maybe I need to move on to a different phase of my life. But no, the enhanced games, boss. I mean, there has to be better decision making when it comes to your career.
Yeah. He's 30. I still think he could do something. I honestly think even if Fred decided to step down and back to step back up to the 400 meters, he'll be competitive. He probably could make the US team. I suspect he wouldn't want to do the kind of work for that, but he could.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. I think I like you. I think the whole idea of this enhanced game thing is just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, and it encourages behavior that I don't think anybody wants to see in sport.
Right. And so I'm glad you brought it up, because I think people, I don't want to get on the soapbox tonight on the sport, but sport is more than competition, right?
Yeah.
It's about life. It's about a number of things that it teach people and young people. So a lot of young people, you put them in sport, not because you anticipate that they will be the next Michael Jordan or Usain Bolt or Shelley and Fraser Price or whoever you name it. It's because it teaches you some lessons. And part of sports is, you just cannot do things that we might think, people have the right to do whatever you want, but there's a standard as well here, and I think this is crossing the line. And whatever money they're coming with is, I can't tell you how to get money in your pocket, but still there's a level.
There has to be a better way. I mean, the path of least resistance is not always the best route to take. So that's what I see.
I don't know. Yeah. So Jamaica outperforming your expectations prior to the championship so far?
You had two bonus medals certainly from 3
Right.
no.
3, yeah.
Yeah, because I said 6 to 10.
Yeah.
We didn't get the medal I thought we would have gotten the women's 100-meter hurdles, but they made up for it in the men's hurdles.
Yeah.
And I didn't see us medaling in the long jump, and Tajia got a medal. So that's 3 medals that I didn't expect to get. They're there. I think looking forward, I think I did pick Sherika to medal in the 200 women. And I think I did pick Ralford Mullings to medal in the discus and in the relays. So 6 and 2, 8, and probably 3 relay medals. That takes it up to 11. So they probably would have been exceeding my expectations right now, even though the medals that I was expecting are not the medals that we got.
Right.
So, but it's a nicer feeling than what happened in Paris last year. That felt like a disaster.
Yeah.
Yes, but no, because we're getting a bunch. We have 4 silver medals, 1 bronze, and a gold.
Yeah.
And the possibility exists that maybe another gold could be in the offing as well. So
for sure. Yeah, I agree, and you never know what happens if you get the relay stuff right. We talked about triple jump. There's lots of interesting performances there. We lost some people in the opening round too, but importantly, Yulimar Rojas, we haven't seen her for such a long time. Yeah. I really felt good for her when she just did a big jump, and I'm like, it's not the Yulimar we know, but I'm wondering, will she find a big one and get on that podium? To come back from an Achilles injury, to jump, it's not even just like a regular thing. It takes a tremendous
2 years
amount of
out
work.
as well. So lacking in competition as well. But she is the Sydney of the triple jump.
Yeah.
I don't think she needs to be at her best to win. We've seen Perez Hernandez jump 14.90 this year. Yeah. We've seen Povea jump 14.80, I think. Sia Lafond 14.60 just before the championships.
Yeah.
I worry about Shanika Ricketts because she doesn't look like Shanika. Normally, leading into our championships, Shanika would be jumping like 14.8s or 14.9s by now. Her last 3 competitions before this was all 14.30 and under. And she said to us when I spoke to her yesterday, or yesterday, was the day before yesterday, whenever it was, earlier this week. She said she's confident of doing well. What does well mean? She's going to have to jump somewhere close to 14.90 to be on the podium.
Yeah.
Because I feel that Ross is going to jump 14.90. The first jump was it 14.60? What was it?
Was it 14.40 or something like that? I have to look at it.
14.40 something,
Yeah.
So once she gets a few jumps under her belt, I think she's going to go far out. Not necessarily the 15.74 or the 15.50 that she usually jump, but I think it's not implausible to believe that she gets above 14.90 or 15.15 a little bit, which then puts her on the podium and the gold medal again. Perez Hernandez and Povea, obviously they've been dominating all year.
Yeah.
But when the gold comes in, at 80%, you're still her 80%.
You have to watch,
Yeah.
I think her return was more like a Ryan Krause so far. Obviously, she hasn't won a medal or one, as opposed to a Jacobs return not making it out of the 1,500 meters. But
it's going to be. I think it's funny. I think the Cubans and Ross are going to be on the podium. That's how I see it.
Yeah. I think that might happen. We'll see. You never know. It takes one big jump, and we know Tia Lafon could go up, give you a 15-meter jump if necessary. But she's been coming back from different injury stuff. And likewise, Ricketts may come out there and threaten early. You just need one, so we'll see.
Yeah, just need one big jump.
Yeah,
and I suspect that if she can find the rhythm and hit a big jump early, it might then give her the confidence to then come back and produce another few big jumps that will put her in contention for a medal. So I don't know. We'll keep our fingers crossed. But right now, based on the evidence and what we're seeing, it's not looking particularly positive.
Yeah.
But we can only hope that things turn around tomorrow.
And there's one Caribbean man that I never thought much about this year, and that's Anderson Peters. When I was thinking about the lineup, I had Weber winning with ease, Chopra, but the guy goes and throw a 89.53 today. Does that change your calculus in any mind in terms of where the medals may end up going? The javelin.
He's going to have to do it again. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Anderson had that unfortunate situation where after the World Championships where he was mugged and beaten up down into the, and he for up to this point he hasn't been the 90-meter thrower that he was consistently back then, or 89 or 88-meter thrower back then. But if he's found it back now, that big throw for him could be the turning point.
Yeah.
And if it is the turning point, then I mean he's not like he's not done it before. He knows what he knows what it takes to win. Yeah. So it's possible. And I know Weber have been throwing well all year, throwing 91?
90s. Yeah, he's consistently over 90s, maybe on 4 occasions or something. I have to check. Yeah, but it's a lot.
If Anderson pops out at 89, who knows? It's one of those. The javelin is one of those things where surprises don't surprise you anymore. Especially the last few years. Yeah. So who knows? Anderson comes out and throws another 89 or throws a 90. He's in the mix.
Yeah, he's in the mix. I think Chopper is always in the mix. The Nadim guy can be in the mix. It's just that he doesn't throw enough for you to feel anything. But then he shows up at the Olympics and he will win or gets a silver medal or something like that. You never know. I think even Julius Yego from Kenya surprised me today because he hasn't been throwing big for a while.
Yeah, he's been trouble for years.
Yeah.
I know he's had injury issues, and I think he's had some other technical issues. But what did he throw today?
I think he threw 85 and something. I think he just threw a season best 85, and I can't remember exactly. I can look it up, but it wasn't the 85s though. So it's not. Yeah. It doesn't threaten anything, but it looks good. 85-96. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
his guts has gotten a lot bigger, but his throwing hasn't necessarily captured an imagination for the last few years.
So one last thing I will get out of here because I know you got to go. The 400-meter hurdles, women and men, I thought Femke looked really comfortable, made Delilah not look so comfortable, but I still feel Delilah is okay. I like what I saw from Anna Cockrell. I saw enough to say she could still be on the podium. On the men's side, and there was a comment on this on either your channel or mine, was Varham purposely trying to get an outside lane the way he ran that race today? I don't know if that's the case. He likes a particular lane, but
he likes lane 7.
Huh?
Because I saw that today. I was wondering myself because he eased down, and he did it in the first round too. He eased down and got past, which is something that is unusual for him, for me.
Yeah.
So maybe he's conservative because he intends to probably save everything for the final because he knows that Ray is running really, really well, and Dos Santos doesn't look positively good. So I don't know if that's an issue for him. But certainly Samba looks good. And Nathaniel
Ezekiel
looks pretty good as well. So maybe these guys are back in the mix and makes it a lot more interesting as well.
Yeah.
But Carson, maybe it's a gamble that he took and hoping to get lane 7 because he's not in Norway where he can command lane 7.
Yeah.
So maybe he's trying to strategically get himself on the outside lane there. But I don't know if that strategy that works because since he didn't win his heat, then he's at the mercy of the selection. In terms of,
it didn't work because I think he has lane 4 for the final. So
yes, there you go.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad lane though to get. Yeah. Lane 4 isn't terrible. It's not like he got 2 but I know he likes lane 7. So that's where he likes to run from. So maybe that's a strategy that backfired on him because I don't know why. You usually get the sense from him that he likes to win his heats.
Yeah.
But these last 2 times he hasn't. And it suggests that maybe there is some motive behind that clearly didn't work. But we'll see.
We'll
And maybe
see. I
we'll
mean,
see.
I
And
hope
maybe
it's not. I hope it's strategy than anything else. Because I pick him to win this year because he looked really good coming in, but you never know. And yeah, and I think
I'm,
Gianna Woodruff was really good too in terms of
yeah,
she was
Woodruff looks
surprising
good.
for me too. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think for the women, I think that the podium is Femke, Cockrell, and Mohammed.
Dalila.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's how
think
I have it too. Yeah,
that's my three for the podium.
yeah,
For the men, I don't know. I don't know if something went wrong with De Santos, but I watched him. I watched him in the semifinal, and he didn't look like the kind of the
yeah,
Alisson De Santos that you saw earlier in the season. I don't know if he suffered an injury or something. Um, but it would not be out of the realm of possibility for Ezekiel or Samba to factor in the final, in
yeah,
terms of getting onto the podium, because I think Ray Benjamin looks really, really good.
yeah.
I mean, he looks really fast. I would be surprised if he goes 45 too. I mean, that's a 45 2. I mean,
46
45.
too.
Yeah, no, man. When I say
Oh,
45 2, I mean 45 as well
oh, as well as VAR. Okay,
as
I was like
Avaro.
45 too.
No,
Then
no,
we
no,
gotta get you to
45
bed
2.
right
No,
now.
no, not that crazy. And that's sleepy at either. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think I get the feeling though that he wins it. Honestly, I
Oh,
mean,
Benjamin.
when we spoke,
Mm,
when we spoke earlier, it was a couple of lives ago
yeah,
where I felt like Varhom was going to win it
yeah,
based on the 46-28 that he's run so far this year and how comfortably doing it. But Ray has run 46-17, I think, this season.
yeah.
And he's continued to look good. So the program that Jonah here is probably has him ready to run maybe 45. No. I mean,
Yeah,
he
and
looks
he's also
that good.
conservative on the circuit this year too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So maybe that's the plan. Maybe he challenges the world record this year.
yeah. It's interesting. I still in my I changed my on the prediction guessing game thing. I put Samba ahead of Dos Santos, even though obviously
Mhm.
initially my prediction was Varham, Benjamin, and then Dos Santos, but now I have Samba just because I don't know what I think something is wrong with Dos Santos. I think he's
Yeah.
injured, but yeah. I'm still
He
not
does.
sure if Benjamin would beat Varham, but based on if we were to go by semifinal run, I think Benjamin, you would rightly want to put Benjamin there.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
unless Varhom is saving something special for the
yeah,
final, I think right now Ray looks like he's the one who's gonna cap the gold medal there
yeah,
to go with the Olympic gold medal next last year. I think it's gonna be what I do know. It's gonna be wild because I think there are about 5 guys gonna be that mix, and I think each of them their performance will impact
right.
on each other. At least up to the first 8 hurdles.
Right.
So we could probably see Ray and Varhom ahead, and then the next phase of guys is like 3 or 4 guys closely
Yeah,
matched coming over the last 2 hurdles.
yeah. No, because I think even Samba and the Nigerian guy are
Yeah.
in kind of similar category, and if Dos
Mhm.
Santos was Dos Santos, he would be closer to the
Yeah.
big three. But we'll see. Yeah, he would be in the big three, but we'll see. All right,
What do I really think
Ali.
about what
Yeah.
was the lane draw?
So he's in
Obviously,
lane 8. Yeah.
yeah. I
So
don't see that.
Toboga is in 6, Lindsay 7, 8 for Levell, Gout in 4, yeah, Blake in 2, Zeze in 3, and the Swiss guy is in 9.
I don't think it hurts him.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. Plus on a
I think
9-lane, yeah, sorry, a 9-lane
yeah,
track too. So yeah, mm.
once he sticks to his race model, and if he comes off the curve before anybody else, which I think he will, then he
Yeah,
can gauge where everybody else is and then pushes home. And depending on how far ahead he is, he might just decide to shut it down and save something for the final as well. So
yeah,
I don't think lineage hurts him at all.
right.
Yeah. So
No, I think he'll be fine. And given the form that he's in right now, I mean, I'm not really worried, right? Yeah,
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 I don't think so.
yeah.
I think he'll be
All right.
fine. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that all goes well for him, because if it does, then it's a new era for Jamaica's 200-meter runners. Because since Bolt, we haven't seen somebody as outstanding as Bryan Levell.
Yeah. No, and it's good to see. All right, Leighton, we're gonna call it because I don't want to spend more time than you need to spend time. Because
Yeah, I need to get some sleep.
get
'Cause
some
I
rest, guys. Again,
start up
sorry we
tomorrow.
didn't get a chance to engage as much as your comments, but we know you understand. We'll get to them at another time. we might be back again live tomorrow. I'm not counting for Leighton. I might be on, but I check him and see. Yeah,
if I'm there, tomorrow is Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Friday is the day when they have 2 sessions again.
Yeah,
right?
Friday they'll have 2 sessions Friday night.
Yeah. What I'll do is that I'll try, if I let you know early if I'm available tomorrow. We can probably do something tomorrow.
All right.
I think it's going to be a big day tomorrow, so
we'll
probably do something if I can, if I'm not too bushed.
Well, don't pressure him. We're not pressuring him, so we'll see. But anyway, we'll let you go. And thanks everybody for joining. Please subscribe to Leighton's channel. It's running across the screen. And give me a subscribe to like the videos, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good night.